Small Business Conference here in Savannah, Georgia. I'm Gary Johnson. I'm president of the Savannah chapter of SCORE. SCORE is a founder of this conference along with our title sponsor, Wells Fargo. We started this conference in 2013. We had it out at the mall and had about 90 people. Last year we moved here and doubled our attendance. This year we had over 300 registrations, and it looks like we have pretty much filled the room here. So thanks for coming. It may surprise you to know that out of 6 million plus businesses in the United States, almost 5 million have 10 or less employees. This segment is one of the most important drivers of our economy today, and as a matter of fact, is a target market for SCORE and SCORE services. SCORE has been a leader in small business mentoring service in the U.S. for over 50 years. We are a non-profit association with 350 chapters nationwide and more than 11,000 working and retired business executives and experts who volunteer their time and expertise to help small business succeed in starting a new business and growing their business. All of our services are free or available at a very low cost. Our services include face-to-face mentoring, education workshops, and we introduced a new service this year called Business Advisory Boards, which provides small business a board of experts to advise them on policy and strategy matters, which can benefit from an outside view and an opinion. You can find out more about us by visiting our booth at the entrance where we have literature, and by checking our website, score.org, www.score.org. Thanks to all our sponsors and participants listed in your program and who will be introduced as we proceed. And we hope you will find today's program both informative and profitable. Olga is Wells Fargo Small Business Manager for the Southeast and is headquartered in Atlanta. Please join me in welcoming Olga Lopez with a message for all small businesses here today.
Thank you, Gary. Good morning. I'm Olga Lopez. I'm the Greater Georgia East Area President, so I cover from Brunswick, St. Simons, some of the outlying cities, Savannah, up to Augusta, Georgia. And so it's a pleasure to be here with you today. Working with small business owners is one of the most important things that we do here at Wells Fargo. Small businesses make up 99% of the U.S. employer firms and 64% of net new private sector jobs in our economy, according to the SBA Office of Advocacy. At Wells Fargo, we're committed to helping small businesses succeed financially. SBA lending is an important way that we provide small business owners the financing that they need to build their business. Every small business loan that we make is helping an American business start, expand, or invest in a business. Wells Fargo has loaned more SBA dollars to small businesses across the U.S. than any other lender for 6 consecutive years, and is the only SBA lender to extend more than $1 billion in SBA 7A loans in a single year. Okay. And I look forward to meeting each and every one of you. Thank you.
Now I'd like to call Cecilia Russo to the podium. She's owner of Cecilia Russo Marketing, and she is going to introduce our gold sponsors. Cecilia.
Good morning. A special thank you to the following for your support of small business. So when I say these companies, if someone from your company would please stand and remain standing so we can see all of the support that we have in the room. Without all of these individuals, we would not be all together today. So the Bowen Law Group, Charles Bowen, go Bo, business attorney here, all of yours can stand. Savannah Coffee Roasters, my favorite Aussie in the world, right there, Lori Collins. Liquid Capital, Robert Cable. Don't know where, okay, very good. Buy Local Savannah. So if you are a Buy Local Savannah member, could you please stand? Y'all are a huge support to us. TJS Deemer Dana, CPA. If y'all could stand. We want everybody to keep standing. I know it's hard, but just for a second. You haven't had your lunch yet. Come on. Keep standing, Deemer Dana. Marchese Construction. Joe Marchese right here with us. Of course, I'm standing, and the best collaborative partner in the world, Carriage Trade PR, Marjorie Young with Carriage Trade Public Relations. The City of Savannah Economic Development Department. I know Miranda isn't here, but some of you are, aren't you? Please stand if you're with that group. And Savannah Area Chamber of Commerce. So please look around the room. Thank our gold sponsors. We really appreciate your support.
Thank you. I'd like to welcome Roel Joyner to come to the podium. He is the owner and CEO of 24E Design Company, and he's going to introduce our VIP guest here today. And Roel?
Good afternoon. I'm Roel Joyner. I'm the president of the Savannah Downtown Business Association, and before we get started, I'd like to thank, we got a huge debt of gratitude to Marjorie Young, who this is her baby, and it's like she has really worked to push this out, and Joe Marchese, who's like our Lamaze coach. So you guys are like, you are the engines that could for small business, and we want to thank you. Let's give them a round of applause. Also, I'd like to recognize a few of our delegates that we have here today. We have the representative from District 161, the Honorable Bill Hitchens. Bill, would you please stand? From the City of Savannah, we have District 4, Mary Ellen Sprague, our Alderwoman there in the corner. Also from Garden City, we have the City Manager, Mr. Philip Claxton, if you would. And now the introduction for the woman that we're going to call up here, who I think if we were to call her the small business ambassador, it would be a disservice. She's actually been the small business czar. She was tasked by the mayor, Edna Branch Jackson, to put together a business roundtable to help solve some of our problems. It's been my distinct honor to work with her and Chairman Greg Parker to work on these issues that you saw that you wanted worked on. We've worked diligently on them on the last 2 years, and here she is. Come on up. Let's give her a round of applause. Here's the czar, Carolyn Bell.
Is it still morning or is it afternoon yet?
It's
still morning. It's still morning. So good morning. So in spite of all of that wonderful introduction, Marjorie has already told me you have 3 minutes. So to give a politician 3 minutes is difficult. But let me just say thank you to all of you small business owners, and thank you for all that you do for our economy. Thank you to the supporters of this event, because this is actually what we want to see in Savannah and what all of us really work so hard for to see, make sure that small businesses thrive in this community. So suffice it to say that, oh God, this is awful. I'm looking at a timer. Suffice it to say, most of you know the history, so I have to do my numbers quickly. Most of you know the history. You know that the mayor put together a small business roundtable. Rule told you it was chaired by Greg Parker. I was the liaison from the city of Savannah, well, actually from city council. So I want to talk about the process. We knew that there were some things that we were doing right, but there were some things that we were doing wrong as well, or some challenges. So we knew we had some things to work on to make it easier for small businesses to access the city of Savannah and to either sustain your business, grow your business, or even start a new business. So let's just talk about what we accomplished. That this process started over 2 years ago, and after Greg Parker accepted the challenge by saying, I agree with Carol, we don't want this to be another study that's just put on the shelf. So as long as we can say that the work that we do over this time period will actually be implemented, then we're willing to do it. So we worked for a couple of years, and we actually worked with city staff and identified the challenges that we had. So what came out of the process, after being very honest and looking at how we did business and what needed to change, we decided that we listed a group of accomplishments. Number one, in terms of implementation and what our results came, our staff reviewed and overhauled the business approval process. In other words, they streamlined the process, so we tried to make sure that it was easier for you to get your license, you to go through the approval process, and eliminated some of the steps. Number two, the city established, you can't clap because that takes some of my time. The city actually named 3 liaisons, business liaisons, to work with the businesses in terms of walking you through the process. So those people are Rob Davis, Christy Lawrence, and Christy's coming before you, and Aisley Jackson. I understand Aisley's here as well. Number 3, City of Savannah made customer services a top priority, and in doing so, the city manager named a customer service administrator to make sure we improve the way we do business with our constituents. Number 4, we installed customer service kiosks around the city in 2 places. We started in the Broad Municipal Building and in Kristen's building, Development Services on Abercorn. In other words, you can give us immediate feedback, how we're doing, so we can evaluate ourselves. Number 5, we revamped the website, the business section of the City of Savannah website, www.savannahga.gov. Go to the business section and see if it's more customer friendly now. Number 5, we made it convenient for you to apply for business licenses and some of the other services and register for events that's happening by making that online as well. Now, let's see, what do we say? Yeah, more government services are available online. So we actually eliminated paper processing. You can go online actually and complete more functions than you could in the past. And number 7, we have improved our marketing plan. So we're doing more. We're doing more to try to attract technology. Businesses that focus on technology to the community, businesses that pay more, and businesses that are more attractive to our population. And since both Greg and I play by the numbers, the biggest improvement for me is that when we started this process, Forbes magazine ranked cities across the country, and they ranked us in the area of they called it the top 200 best places for business and careers in the country. At that time, Savannah ranked on the list 145. After 2 years, I know it's really bad, But after 2 years, we moved up to number 78. So I don't think that's too bad. Now you may clap. I mean, that's a 50% improvement rate in 2 years, so I'll take those numbers. So at the rate we're going, hey, we're on our way up. And our goal is to become the best city in America in which to do business. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's great news, and we can see it every day around the city. It's now time to move into the main part of our program, and it's my pleasure to introduce Joe Marchese and Marjorie Young, who will be conducting the rest of the afternoon. And I'd like to just say about Marjorie, she is really the founder of this. She was president in 2013 when we first started this. I was her assistant. I was a vice president. And when she brought up this idea, I thought, well, I don't know if there's really a demand for that, but look how wrong I was. She kept at it, and she is really the brains and the worker behind this whole program. So Marjorie and Joe, would you take over, please?
Thank you, Gary. What a crowd. Thank you so much for coming out here. You all are my family. You really are. Small business is my family in Savannah. So thank you. This is a wonderful turnout. These are numbers that you're going to hear today that can help you make decisions about your business. They're numbers that were never really revealed locally until we started putting this program on. So the next half hour, you're going to hear some hyper local information that will help you make decisions about hiring. Should you expand? Should you not? Joe, why else did we start this?
Well, Michael Toma deals in defensible data. And as a small business owner, I don't share my data. So it's very difficult to report the statistics of 80% of the economy. So we decided that the best way to tell you the story was to find 12 people in the economy and let them tell you how they were doing.
10.
Sorry, 10. And that's the format for today's event. So we're going to get some people that are talking about what the economy means so that you have a local perspective. It's great to know whether you need to buy your next G650. I think Marshall can tell you that there is a 4-year waiting list to get one, but I am probably not going to buy one this quarter.
Next quarter.
Next quarter, yeah. But I do need to buy another F-150. In fact, probably an F-350. So this is for the people that are 80% of the business in the United States. And also, Bill Shire, who was the president of the Savannah Chamber when we started this, said that the Gulf Stream supply chain is made up of 2,157 small businesses. So that's what we're here for. We're here for the small business in the room, and if there's some way we can make this better, talk to myself, talk to Marjorie, talk to anyone at SCORE, and we'll try to make sure that you get the information that you need. And we're very pleased to have Michael Toma here, and we're very pleased to have the support of the entire community. So thank you very much for coming, and we hope that the afternoon is
Gonna rock. Okay. Couple of other things. Do y'all have the reports right there? These are put together to be shared with businesses and employees that we're trying to recruit to Savannah. It is a booklet full of information about small business that really highlights, well, it's how well we're doing. Hope we don't have to go through another recession. We probably will, but it looks like the reports this year are looking really good. So please take them home, share them This information, what CETA tries to do is recruit businesses to Savannah, and this is a brochure that they can use, and B-Ray, you can use this information for recruiting high-tech companies here. And everybody who are trying to recruit teachers or employees, this is really good information.
Right, and we do encourage you all to, and I am a digital immigrant, so tweeting is not my strength.
Move over.
Marjorie and Cynthia are great at this, but we do encourage you to tweet and to share this experience virtually with the people around you. So I've tweeted a picture of all of you, and if you can all try to do the same, it would be greatly appreciated. And that's one way that we can use the power of social media. And our hashtag is @SavScore, and it's up here. It's on a placard at every table. So if you want to see it, it's right there on the table tent on your table. And the Wi-Fi is also, well, why don't you say it?
The Wi-Fi, go to Stand Wi-Fi and log in with CCLD 2000. And then we want you to tweet the benchmarks that the folks are going to be presenting today. So, all right. So here's the rules today. Each one of them gets 3 minutes to present their report, their 1 or 2 benchmarks. It's not a lot of time. Our SCORE mentor, Alan Blunt, please stand, Alan. He is going to be timing down here, so when they come up, he'll hit go, and if a speaker starts to go over, he'll just stand up. And we were going to put squirt guns on the table, but that's not very welcoming. So, no, just kidding. We certainly appreciate you guys doing this. All right, what else do we need to cover before we start, Joe?
That's it.
That's it?
We're good.
All right, you ready to roll? Oh, we're actually live streaming too. And we're filming this, and this will probably run on the city channel, so. Okay. All right, we're ready to roll. The first speaker is Christy Lawrence, PE, Development Services Liaison with the City of Savannah, and her topic is local growth. Please welcome Christy.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Christy Lawrence. I'm a civil engineer, and I work for the City of Savannah as the Liaison for Development Services. Our department provides business approvals, permits, and inspections for construction within the city limits. We track construction activity based on the construction cost or valuation of building projects. Valuation is a better way to measure construction activity than the number of permits, since no 2 permits are the same. One permit could be anything from a $5,000 home renovation to an $18 million hotel project. In 2013, we permitted projects totaling $342 million, which was 9% higher than the pre-recession peak in 2008 of $312 million. Last year in 2014, we permitted a total of $334 million, which was just 2% less than 2013. In 2014, we issued over 1,600 building permits, and the top 20 permits in terms of valuation accounted for $160 million of the $334 million total. This means that in 2014, 1% of the total number of permits represented 48% of the total valuation. Many of these projects are visible in our community, such as the Memorial Health University Medical Center renovation, Legends at Chatham Apartments, the Homewood Suites on East Bay Street, the Fairfield Inn and Suites on Abercorn, and the Gulfstream Paint Hangar. Through May 31st of this year, we have already had a strong year and have permitted projects totaling $135 million. This data shows that our local economy is steady and strong, and that dollars are being spent on new buildings and new facilities, which is great for our local economy and for small business. The City of Savannah, as Carol Bell mentioned, has also recently made efforts to streamline the business approval process. In 2014, we created a new position the business approval coordinator, to help coordinate this process. Prior to signing a lease or purchasing a property for a new business, contact the city's business approval coordinator, Aisley Jackson, who is here today, to confirm that the proposed business use is permitted in this property's zoning district and that the building structure meets code requirements for the intended business use. If the business use in an existing building is changing, the building must comply with current building and life safety codes for the new use. Changes to the building and or site may be required. New resources have been created to help businesses understand and navigate the business approval process, including a business approval brochure, which we have some here today. Aisley has a stack of those, and a business approval process flow chart. These resources can be found on the city's business approvals webpage at www.savannahga.gov/businessapprovals.
Great, and the city of Savannah has always had something they've called site plan review that meets weekly, and now they also do building plan review. So get in touch with Aisley, the liaison, and just let the city help you to understand what you're doing before you do it. Because it's terrible to ask if you can do it after you've already signed a lease. And believe it or not, that does happen. And they can help you to understand impact fees and tap fees and the other things that might get kind of lost in the discussion. So thank you very much, Christy. Our next speaker is going to be Suzanne Toney. She is the Assistant Professor of Economics at the College of Business at Savannah State University, and she is going to talk about local economic indicators. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon and greetings from Savannah State University. I looked at some of the trends that were happening in the local economy. So some of the main growth indicators that economists tend to look at are things like the unemployment rates. We look at GDP, or gross metropolitan product. We also look at inflation rates. So I looked at all of those for Savannah, also for Georgia, and for the US, and did a comparison. And what we're seeing here is that the Savannah unemployment rate is currently at 5.5%, or that's what we had there in April, and it's trending downward, which is good. It's also below the Georgia unemployment rate. It's equal to the US unemployment rate at this time. The unemployment rate being pretty low and trending downward is a positive sign. So it means that more people are being hired. More people are being hired in this area, even relative to the entire state of Georgia. And if more people are being hired, they should have more customers for small businesses, which is really a good sign. We also found that metropolitan Savannah experienced a 4.9% increase in annual employment over the past year. So we're seeing that increase there, and most of that hiring was from small businesses, which is another great sign. Leading employment industries are professional and business services, information, mining, logging, and construction, also leisure and hospitality. So these are the leading hirers in this past year. Savannah's gross metropolitan product, and that's what we look at to take a look at the amount of goods and services that are being produced in the area. So we find that the gross metropolitan product is only second to Atlanta in the state of Georgia. So we're growing there too. Georgia's 2014 real GDP growth rate was 2.3%. So the value of all the goods and services produced in the state of Georgia grew at 2.3% from last year until this year. The US real GDP grew by 2.2%. And Savannah's gross metropolitan product is supposed to increase, or forecasted to increase, by 3.1%. So growing faster than the state of Georgia and also the national economy as well. This increased output is another positive sign. Usually when we see the increased output, it means that demand has increased for products. So we need the producers to produce more products and provide more services. So if that's the case, we need to hire more people so that they can produce more goods and services. And consumers are now able to spend more because more people are being hired. So they'll be able to spend with the local small businesses. So it's another great sign. U.S. inflation rates are currently at 1.8%, and this rate has remained steady from last year. That reflects relatively stable prices. So consumers want to see stable prices, so do business owners, so that you can kind of predict and forecast from one period to the next. And with prices remaining stable, it helps consumers with spending as well. So they feel comfortable spending their money. They know that the prices should stay relatively stable. It's not going to cost them more for things next year, or it's not likely to do so. And then finally, increases in the local population. So we've got more people moving into Savannah. We also have an increase in income rates here in Savannah, and both of those are really positive signs for small businesses. We have more people that can spend more money with your small businesses. Thank you.
Good news. Before I introduce the next speaker, I just want to give you two things I read about on the SBA website. It says 36% of business owners are women. Yeah, we need to get that up. And that's across the United States. Home-based businesses account for 52%. That's huge. Okay, our next speaker is Tony O'Reilly, President of the Small Business Assistance Corporation. His topic is small business access to capital in the Savannah region.
Thank you, Marjorie. Good afternoon, everyone. Small Business Assistance Corporation is a nonprofit community development financial institution that provides access to capital through 13 different loan programs in partnership with 13 area lenders and the city of Savannah. So let's take a quick look at our benchmarks for the last 4 fiscal years ending September 30. As you can see, the loan volume in dollars and numbers, as well as the number of startups, is trending down or, holding status quo from year to year. Nationally, I can point out that lending through the Small Business Administration is also flat from year to year. From our point of view, what does this say about small businesses' access to capital? I guess the questions are, is it a supply problem or is it a demand problem? A few observations. As you've heard, the economy is in much better shape. Business owners are able to shore up their balance sheets, their P&L statements inside a growing economy, and that's the biggest benefit to all small business owners. Stronger financial statements improve the likelihood that a small business is going to be able to obtain a conventional loan from a lender. Secondly, you can look at the Savannah market has plenty of lenders looking for those strong borrowers. Even after the recent bank acquisitions and mergers that we all know about, Chatham County has 20 FDIC-insured lending institutions alone. Lastly, since the recession, banks have been slow to approve and fund business loans. New regulations that have come up, new compliance responsibilities, all those things have tended to hamper and bog down the business loan process. But unregulation jumps into the fray. You've got new lenders on the scene, labeled as technology-powered Main Street lenders. These alternative lending sources have exploited processing advantages through new software platforms to reach small business owners. More than ever, small businesses are starting to reach out for this fast, low documentation, low regulation loans, such as, you've heard of them, On Deck, Cabbage, Foundation, Square Capital, even Sam's is getting into the fray. So we conclude there is an abundant access to capital. The question remains, however, are small businesses willing to take on new debt to expand their businesses or start endeavors in spite of the various uncertainties surrounding regulations and policy. Thank you.
So an interesting statistic is that of money spent with a locally owned business or a locally owned store in this economy, 52% of the revenue stays within the local economy. That same dollar spent with a chain restaurant or a chain store, only 14% of that money stays in the economy. So we're very, very glad to have Buy Local here and to see people that invest in their community. One of the people that's been a great member of this community is Rhett Moucher. Rhett is a commercial broker with Judge Realty. He's been working in the Savannah real estate market since 1976, and we're very happy to bring him up. Rhett? Did I say Judge Realty? Yeah. All right, so, and that Rhett is a part of Judge Realty.
Yeah, associate broker, yeah. I think that was 1876.
1876.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Marjorie. I want to start with the hard facts of Savannah's commercial real estate, and I don't have much time, so hang on this. One method of measuring commercial real estate is determining the overall occupancies, or at least that's the way I do it. And my son works with me, and we both do the research and look out there. In addition to our own research, we use CoStar as our research partner. So I'm going to hit the occupancies in the different sectors right now, starting with the industrial sector. At the height of the recession years, our vacancy rate was slightly above 30%, resulting in more than 12 million square feet of vacancy. This high rate declined, and in 2013 was slightly under 15%. It is presently, at the end of the first quarter of 2015, at a vacancy rate of only 5.2%. This is a sign of phenomenal growth and clearly shows the strength of the Georgia ports and the attraction of industry and distribution to the Port of Savannah. And a lot of my broker friends in industry really feel like that the vacancy rate is much lower than that when it comes to the usable space that's out there. Retail sector. The general retail market showed a vacancy rate of only 6.2% in 2013 during my last presentation. That rate has further declined to 5.7%. And I want you to listen to this, that even though the rate only slightly decreased from the previous year in report, the increase in product amounted to over 600,000 square feet of new space, inclusive of the new Tanger Outlet Center in Pooler. And Bennett Rudder is here with Ben Carter, representative. Appreciate you being here and listening to that. Thanks for coming to Savannah, by the way, too. Specialty retail centers are experiencing near zero vacancy rates in levels throughout Savannah. The Savannah office sector, the overall office vacancy rate decreased during 2013 from 10% to 8%. That rate has continued to decrease through year-to-date 2015 and is now at 6.3%. Why the changes? The industrial sector, terrific growth in the industrial sector because of our port, and ongoing collaborative between state and local entities, and the availability for more land product, more land availability for more product. Are we running out of land? That's for another discussion. Retail sector. Don't have but a short time, but this is my favorite as it relates to our central business district. One of the most significant developments for our central business district, Broughton Street, Starland, MLK, is the redevelopment of Broughton Street initiated by Ben Carter. Have a short time, but Ben Carter has brought or controls more than 35 buildings on Broughton Street and spent more than $75 million. The resurgence has caused increased development in other sectors, Liberty Street, Indian Street, MLK, Starland, as local retailers and others are looking for alternate and additional locations to absorb the number of people that are shopping that are downtown Savannah. Office market sector, and in my opinion, the weakest. The office market, not much demand based upon our lack of employment in the service sector. Our vacancy rate has stayed almost the same for years. I've been here since the 70s and the 80s. We just haven't had much growth in our office sector. We need help in promoting Savannah to corporate users to bring more office workers, more corporations to Savannah. We need more product. Multifamily sector, less than a 5% vacancy across the board. And I don't really have time to talk about that today, but a lot of multifamily products in Savannah, more developers are coming, more people, higher densities in our great downtown, west side, south side area. Based upon these benchmarks in my 40 years in commercial real estate in Savannah, where are we headed? You know, just like a great TV series I watched a couple of weeks ago, Texas Rising, well, Savannah's rising. Look for more growth, Starland District, more intensive use and demand. Indian Street corridor near the new hotel in our new hotel district over there. MLK, of course, with the development that's out there. Waters Avenue, look for on the horizon, Waters Avenue development corridor. East Broad, more development. The Canal District, we don't hear anything much about the canal, but that's going to be on the, really on the spotlight. And Hutchinson Island. Savannah's a great place to be. Be on the lookout for more to come. Thank you.
Wow, that's good news. Aren't you all glad that we're here in Savannah? Savannah's on fire, and I am so proud to call this my home. I went up to Washington, D.C., where I grew up this past week, and I couldn't wait to get home. We don't have the traffic problems down here. We have wonderful living conditions. We're really fortunate. Don't forget. Okay, our next speaker is Marshall Tuck, Corporate Small Business Officer at Gulfstream Aerospace, telling me when we're going to get our new jet. Right? Welcome, Marshall.
Thank you. Gulfstream Aerospace Corporation is a wholly subsidiary of General Dynamics that designs, develops, manufactures, and markets, supports the world's most technologically advanced aircraft. In doing so, we use quite a few small businesses. Within the past 4 years, Gulfstream's procurements have increased from $575 million to $765 million for small business. The total procurements, that's 137% increase in 4 years. With small business trends, that's a 42% increase over a 4-year period. I think that's a significant impact. That's just what we do at Gulfstream. That doesn't include the second tier and all the residual effects that are impacted through the additional 1,000 employees we hired, the larger footprint we've built in Savannah with the new manufacturing facility, the new service center, and the new product support warehouse. In addition to all those developments, we delivered or launched our 500 and 600 G600, G500 aircraft this year. So that says we're here for the long haul. That also says we're a big impact to the community, but small business is our bread and butter. As we look forward into 2014, or I should say look backwards into 2014, just in the coastal region area, Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, we spent over $160 million with small businesses. That's our local businesses. In the state of Georgia, we spent over $110 million with business, and through our sub-tiers and the other suppliers that are providing services and building things for us, they spent over $65 million with their suppliers that are locally small businesses. It's a big impact. Looking at Gulfstream as a whole, we are now over 15,000 employees for the Gulfstream organization. 10,000 of those employees are housed here in Savannah, in addition to the thousands of contractors we have. As we go forward, I think the economy is strong, the future is bright, and with the help of our small business communities, Gulfstream looks forward to another 60 years of setting the standard in business aviation as both Gulfstream and General Dynamics soar into 2015, creating and delivering the world's finest aviation experience. Thank you.
And for y'all that don't know Marshall, he is the go-to guy. If you want to do business with Gulfstream, talk to Marshall.
And if you need a G650, he is offering a 10% discount if you sign the contract today. Now, if you can finance a G650, I hear that people that have already purchased them have resold them to the people that can't wait 4 years to get their very own one. So we might have a brand new business here buying and selling unbuilt aircraft. To do that, please see Jenny Gentry at Wells Fargo. But our next speaker is Cindy Landholt with the City of Savannah. She is the Revenue Director for the city, and she is a graduate of both Armstrong State University and Georgia Southern, so a great product of local schools here. And ma'am, would you come up?
Good afternoon. My name is Cindy Landholt, and I'm the Revenue Director for the City of Savannah. As most of you already know, the Revenue Department handles a variety of different things for the city: property taxes, utility billing, business taxes, business-related taxes, and central cashiering. The benchmark that I'd like to mention or discuss with you guys today is the amount of business tax that was collected by the city. Our totals were down slightly in 2014 from 2013. And when I say slightly, I mean about $15,000. So we find that that was attributed to some internal processing changes that we made with some new software that we had procured. In 2013, that was our first year of utilizing that software, so as expected, there were some delays in some of the processing. That was all corrected in 2014, and I think we have better data integrity these days, so that's attributing, that's the cause, I guess, of that slight drop. Everything else, all of the trends that are shown in my report are definitely upward trends with regards to taxes that have been collected. We also show trends related to numbers of employees. About 75% of our businesses that reported about the same, about 75% of the businesses that reported 10 or fewer employees in their businesses. That's about the same percentage as last year. In addition to that, we had approximately 750 new businesses pay taxes in 2014. So that shows that we do have some growth in the economy. Other information related to alcohol license fees shows those fees up as well. Alcohol-related taxes and auto rental taxes up in addition to that. The star, however, and you can see this in your report, is the hotel motel tax. We are up approximately $2 million since 2014 and up $2.7 million since 2013. Tourism industry is definitely still showing growth in the city. With new hotels planned to open, we hope that growth will continue. As Alderman Bell spoke earlier about the customer service improvements, the Revenue Department was one of those pilot departments. And we worked very diligently with Development Services to improve our business tax processing and our whole procedures that you guys have to go through when you're trying to open a new business. We hope that we've made it much simpler and that it'll continue to attract new businesses to the city. Our staff is always available to help, and we hope that you will contact us if there's anything that we can do. To sum it all up, the numbers of businesses reporting are showing growth in many areas and stability in some others. We see this as a very positive reflection of the state of small business in the city of Savannah. Thank you.
Yay, more good news. Here's another Small Business Administration fact. In 2014, small businesses added more net new jobs than large businesses. Go small business. Okay, our next speaker is Becky Brownlee with the University of Georgia Small Business Development Center in Savannah. Her topic is securing funding with small business counseling. Please welcome Becky.
Thanks, Marjorie. So it's pretty common for us to see business owners that know their business without not necessarily knowing the nuts and bolts of the business. Things like marketing, customer service, human resources, record keeping, or strategic planning. Additionally, identifying sources of capital can be very challenging for small business owners who may not have good financial management skills. Before seeking funding, owners need to understand a few things. They need to understand cost of goods sold. They need to understand their break-even points. They need to understand cash flow. They need to understand their P&Ls and their balance sheets, because I guarantee the lender does. You know, I get it. As a small business owner myself, been there in the trenches 60, 70, 80 hours a week. It's just critical that you take the time to step back and out of your business and actually work on it. So the mission of the SBDC is to enhance the economic well-being of Georgians, provide a wide range of educational services through our community. Let's be clear. Let me put it another way. We offer no cost, AKA free, one-on-one confidential consulting services to small business owners. So to measure our effectiveness, we look at 4 different metrics. We look at loan volume, business starts, growth numbers, sales, and employment. We've actually seen a positive trend in loan volume. From the period of 2013 to 2014, we increased from 158 million to 162 million. Year to date, we've had a little bit of a decline. We're at 35 million compared to 39 million for the same period last year. But it's early. We've got 6 months to go, and we're pretty optimistic. New businesses have also shown a positive trend over the past couple years. 2012, we saw 241 new businesses. 2013 was great. We had 350 new businesses start. Slight decline in 2014. Year to date, we're at 134. Still optimistic. 6 more months to go. Our most recent sales growth impact numbers are for the period 2012 to 2013. We saw an 8.1% increase. That was fabulous. Same trend for employment. For the period 2012 to 2013, 11.2% increase in employment. We're proud of that. So while we're seeing a slight decline in small business lending and business starts, we're seeing very strong sales, very strong employment numbers for existing small businesses. I know I'm out of time. Let me leave you with a challenge. We make a difference. Working with us, working with SCORE can be a game changer for small businesses. I would challenge everybody in this room to please help spread our mission. Please tell the business owners and people in the community of the resources that are available to them. Thank you.
So I don't know if everyone caught that, but the Small Business Development Corporation offers free confidential business counseling. So it's not 20% off or $19.99, it's free. So if you haven't been down there to talk to them and take advantage of it, please come up and talk to Becky at the end of this. And they do offer some programs. Grow Smart is something that I went through that really helped me to be able to create some dashboards to see how the company was doing on a weekly basis. So that worked out very well.
Okay, that's coming up.
And it's coming up. So if you'd like some details on that program, please come and see Becky. And it's a great way to work on your business. I think she said something that was very good. It's to step out and work on your business, because sometimes you're so busy cutting with the saw that you forget that some days you have to sharpen the saw. So that's great to know.
Good.
Right. Next speaker is a little change from our agenda, but it's P.J. Schneider with the Georgia Department of Labor.
As someone who gets the opportunity to market our community to prospects who coming into the area, our labor force, available labor force and skilled labor force, is a very important detail to these employers. I'd like to thank Dr. Tony for bringing up the data about unemployment, but I'd like to elaborate a little bit more. Since January, our labor force in Chatham County, we were at roughly 131,000 folks. Since January, it's grown to almost 133,000. Now, that being said, the unemployment rate has gone from 6.6% in January down to 5.6% in April. Now, over the next few months, you're going to see the labor force continue to grow because of graduations from high school and from colleges. But you'll also see the unemployment rate not grow potentially in proportion to that, just because jobs become available in the area, and what we heard before, that the labor situation is getting better in the area. Now, that also being said, we talked about the skills sets for the area, and that's an important thing. We're doing quite a few things in the area to bring a lot of skilled labor to the area. And some of these programs we have out there for new companies coming to the area, prospects coming in, we have Quick Start. And Quick Start starts off with new employees coming in. The businesses can send their prospect, the candidates coming into the company, in for testing and training, and before they even hire them, to make a determination which candidates they decide to hire. After they hire them, Quick Start can continue on with training on job duties that they would be performing at the plant or at the business. Also, another program we have out there, a very good program, is with the local technical college, Savannah Tech primarily. They have their certification programs, customer service, warehousing, manufacturing, and many times some of the industries have special needs. I remember in the past we had some welding needs with a couple of the companies in the area, and they developed a program for welders to put as many welders to work as possible. With the Department of Labor, one of the major things we hear often is the fact that they need soft skills. We develop a program called Georgia Best, where we're teaching soft skills in the high schools. We've already started in the middle schools. We have a pilot program in the technical college up in North Georgia, and we're going to start promoting that in the technical colleges. We're also taking that into the workplace. So soft skills is a major issue with a lot of employers. I'd like to talk to you on the side about some incentives that we can do to help you save some money. So after the briefing, please come up and see about some incentives we can help you to save some money. Thank you.
Thank you, PJ. Okay, we're getting down to the end here. We're going to have a Q&A afterwards, so don't run off. And we're going to have a confidence index poll in here. Okay, our next speaker is Miss B. Ray, Executive Director of the Creative Coast. Topic, high tech. Hey.
Thank you, Marjorie. Clearly, collectively, small business provides big employment. By definition, big business provides big employment. I'm actually here to speak with you today about growing businesses. Growing companies are harder to see, but important to catch. We see ourselves at the Creative Coast as growing your customer base. Let me provide some illustrations from other cities. Blackbaud in 1989 had only 75 employees, now over 2,600. Benefit Focus in 2000 had only 3 employees. By 2013, over 800. Boomtown in 2006 had only 2 employees, now over 400. People Matter in 2009 had only 4 employees, and now over 200. The list goes on. To quote Sheryl Sandberg, "When you find a rocket ship, don't ask what seat, just get on." In your handout, I am clear that currently Savannah tech sector lags. Increasing our coding skills in HTML, in CSS, JavaScript, iOS, and Ruby on Rails can change that. In the past year alone, numerous resources have developed such training programs right here in Savannah. And with your help, more resources will emerge. The Savannah Graduates Program will be key in this area. I've worked in Atlanta in the 1990s and in Charleston around 2001. And at that time, I was so awed and impressed by the droves of non-technical people who showed up to support and engage in innovation, technology, and startup events before they had that industry thriving. Those individuals are now incredibly wealthy investors and sometimes employees in the Atlanta and Charleston high-tech sectors that represent 64,000 and 11,000 jobs respectively. Please raise your hand if you would like to see 11,000 jobs in Savannah, Georgia that all pay more than $60,000 a year. Anybody? Awesome. You are the people that can make it happen. My hope in Savannah abounds every Wednesday morning when at the Creators Foundry that we are filled with individuals supporting the Kauffman Foundation's 1 Million Cups program. And my hope expounds with every Geekend ticket that is sold, especially to those who don't think of themselves as in the high-tech sector. The bases are loaded in Savannah. We have a world-renowned design talent. We have extensive university and technical college capacity. We have an incredibly desirable location. To build on the baseball analogy and embrace the summer, I want to share a few more numbers. 2,548, 2,306, 2,597 are the number of times that Jim Thorne, Sammy Sosa, and Reggie Jackson struck out. Yet, 612, 609, 563 are the number of home runs they hit respectively to become number 7, number 8, and number 13 top home run hitters of all times. To you and to Savannah, I say let's swing for the fence.
Well, I like that. Let's swing for the fence. So, someone that strikes out 7 times out of 10 is called an all-star. So don't ever fear failure. You got to swing the bat or you'll never hit the ball. So if you have time, it's 9 o'clock on Wednesday mornings.
Yes,
It's every Wednesday morning at the Creators Foundry, which is over on Boundary Street. And the coffee, don't tell Lori Collins, is free. So you can come by. It's a drop-in thing. Come by, meet some of the young, bright people that are looking for people as mentors in Savannah. And I think you'll be rewarded by it too. I've been twice. It's on my calendar. So if you get a chance, just drop in, walk in, sit down, and listen to what's going on in Savannah. And now, Dr. Michael Toma. And we're, once again, just very pleased to have Dr. Toma here. I think he spent about 18 years in the Savannah area, and he is just an incredible resource. Anything that he hasn't told us about small business is because we haven't given him the information to do so. So one of the things that I'd love to see from this is maybe for him to get together with Miss Cindy with some of the Tax Digest information, and maybe together with the Savannah State people, and see if we can figure out what data we need so that when we're up on the board, small business has that defensible data. But it's with great pleasure that I welcome Dr. Michael Toma.
And Ruff. So, what I'm hearing from the speakers, we hear about the big picture macro numbers sound pretty good. Unemployment rates are down, employment numbers are up, gross domestic product is up. What is a little bit inconsistent with that big picture of macroeconomic growth, which also, by the way, is mirrored in the Coastal Empire Economic Monitor. It's going to be out very shortly. 6 quarters in a row of pretty solid growth in our metro area. What is a little bit inconsistent with that picture, but is also consistent with some of the data that I have is Tony O'Reilly mentions the startups and the loan growth. It's not quite as strong as we'd like to see it. SPE, the Business Development Center, right? Similar numbers there. That's consistent with information that I have about employment in small businesses defined as fewer than 50 employees in Chatham County. So it's Chatham County data, fewer than 50 employees, And from mid-2013 to mid-2014, most recent data available, we've seen a 1% decline in the number of people employed by establishments with less than 50 employees, at the same time that the county employment data increased by 2.5%. So there's something puzzling going on there. Perhaps it is attributed to the fact that some of these small businesses in this great economic climate that we're experiencing right now have grown into the next size category up. That's a possibility. There is some evidence that suggests that that is the case. We've seen employment growth of 4.5 percentage points in the next category size up. 4.5 is bigger than 2.5 for the overall county, so there's some employment growth there. Maybe these businesses have grown out of the smallest size. But the underlying data from about business growth and lending suggests that the next wave is a little bit slack in terms of where we would like to see it happen. There are some great opportunities out there. We've seen 5% in small growth in small business manufacturing, 5% growth in educational services. So those sectors seem to be doing very well. Construction and healthcare are lagging a little bit. So there is some puzzling information that's out there in the data, sort of in a macro perspective versus a micro perspective. Provides me with an opportunity here to segue to an interesting announcement here, perhaps an exciting announcement. We think it's so at Armstrong. We're going to be able to provide another set of resources for tools for you to reach into in terms of the small business toolkit that we have available here through SCORE, through SBAC and the Small Business Development Center. Armstrong is going to be launching a Small Business Institute. This institute is going to be a great mechanism for our business economics students to engage with small business community here in Savannah in a consulting-like arrangement. Your small business can benefit from faculty-directed business consulting for no charge. There it is, Joe. Free stuff is free. We like free stuff, right? So there is no cost here. If you are interested in becoming one of the case studies for these students and their student consulting projects, see me afterwards. I'll put you in touch with the faculty member who will be developing and overseeing that initiative. His name is Dr. Dennis Barber, and I'll be happy to put you in touch with him.
Wow, what a great group of speakers. And think about all the free help that there's available to small business owners. And studies show that if you find a mentor, you're going to succeed. You have a better chance of succeeding. So make sure you reach out to the folks up here and get some mentorship. Okay, so Joe? What a great conference we have. Before we close, I want to thank the International Trade and Convention Center and Wells Fargo and all of our gold sponsors and all of our speakers for being here today. Another successful state of small business. So thank you for coming, and we'll see you next week.